Welcome to Sex Afflictions and Porn Addictions. I am your host, Craig Pera from www.themindfulhabit.com. I'm the founder of The Mindful Habit, a world-class at-home addiction program for men struggling with sex and porn addiction and their partners. I'm also a former addict whose shame brought me to the lowest of lows, a near suicide attempt. I almost lost my family, literally got fired from 2 jobs. And since I picked up the pieces and built this program, I've personally worked with over 1,000 men and their wives from 27 countries. The Mindful Habit system has been translated into Spanish. We train counselors and therapists. Our next training is in the late winter, early spring 2021. Details on that coming soon. This system is a science-based, structured push to help you brothers create healthy sexuality and a great life and to save your relationship. Today, I want to help you create healthy sexuality and a great life by shattering a common myth regarding sex drive, lust, and relationships. And what you're going to learn here today has the possibility, I believe, to change the way you show up in your relationship. First, a thank you to Terry. She is a partner in our partner empowerment group, and you know you are doing something right when you get a 5-star excellent rating from a betrayed spouse. So here's how we handle our testimonials. We don't make them up. Everyone who works with us gets a link to review us. Everybody who pays for any one of our program gets a link. And so far we have over 284 excellent 5-star reviews, a few 4 stars, 1 2-star. You can't make everybody happy, but I'm so proud of the feedback that we get from people who've been through the program. Here's what she said. The Partner Empowerment Group is a real blessing in my struggle to understand and navigate this distressing time in my life. I did not use all that the program offered, but knowing they were there and reading and doing the exercises allowed me time to get back to reality, or at least know my old sense of self and the true reality were quite different. I wish to thank the whole Mindful Habit team for their time and energy in helping those of us struggling with these issues. Thank you, Terry, for trusting us with something so serious, your relationship, your sanity, and your success. I also want to shout out to a wonderful senior couple that I talked to a few weeks ago. Now, listen, obviously I can't say your names, but this position that I'm in puts me in the incredibly unique place to talk to so many amazing people. And I talked to this wonderful older couple, and they said, where you been? We haven't seen a podcast. Are you okay? Is everything okay? And their sense of concern moved me, and it inspired me to get my ass in gear and record this podcast. So I want to thank you. You know who you are. And I wish you best of luck in the self-study program. And special announcement, we are adding a webinar call to the self-study program. More on that later. So next, before we jump into the meat, a holiday warning. I'm recording this right after Thanksgiving, so I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. And the holidays, the drinking, the festivities, the COVID, the stress, the financial pressures, people are in meltdown mode, brothers and sisters. Please, 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 please protect your bubble of sanity. Prioritize self-care rooted in self-love. Take care of yourself. Set healthy boundaries. Don't let the holidays suck the life out of you. Please, 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 please. This is messages for the men. This message is for the women. Mental health professionals say that we are on the brink of a mental health tsunami. So you have to take care of yourself. You must get the help that you need, whether it's me, whether it's with someone else. Please, 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 please don't come out of this holiday season ravaged. So let's get to it. All right, here's a very, very important myth. I shared this with my guys in the program. I shared this with the partners, and they're like, why didn't I know this? So here's myth. Here's the myth. Sex is a drive, and if I don't feel like jumping your bones, our relationship is in trouble. Now, if you are in a relationship, pause this right now and go to Gottman.com and sign up for their daily marriage minute. Listen, it is the leading evidence-based couples program in the world. I get so much value taking what I learned from them and sharing it to my clients. They have a daily marriage minute because guess what? There is information that, if learned, can literally help you manage your most intense, your most complex, and one of your most important relationships with your significant other. The fact of the matter is that our training in relationships sucks. We learned what we learned from our parents, and there's often a lot to be desired there. We are broken. We don't know how to connect. We have had shitty training, and here you are listening to this podcast. The other Gottman resource that I highly recommend, and it's, see, look, now I say it's right next to me. Where is it? Here it is. For those of you watching this on video, I am holding up The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work by Dr. John Gottman. Go to Amazon, buy this book. This is my relationship Bible. So much important information. In fact, in a podcast coming up, we're going to be talking about a critical principle. So, on Gottman.com, if you go to the blog, you'll see 2 blog articles on lust myths by Dr. Cheryl Fraser. Here's what she says about sex being a drive. It is not, and I'm going to quote, she said it better than me. Oh, the tyranny of the belief that we should have a great sex drive pretty much all of the time. No, we shouldn't. Basic biology teaches that a drive is a physical need that must be met or we will die. If you don't drink water, you die. If you don't eat, you die. Hunger and thirst are drives. Sex is not. If you don't have sex, you won't die. It may feel like that way sometimes, especially for my addicted brothers, but you won't die. That's me talking. Here's back to her. Yes, there may indeed be a biological need to mate to ensure survival of your gene pool, but the belief that you have a sex drive and it's broken can get in the way of you enjoying a rich and passionate sexual life. So let's talk about the different kinds of drives. So first, there's spontaneous desire. That's the biochemistry of lust that creates an urgency, a hunger for contact, for touch, and for sex. We feel excited, focused, and yes, horny. Experts call this experience spontaneous desire. And the thing about spontaneous desire in every relationship is it fades. It fades in every relationship. You know that drive that you had in the beginning of your relationship is not even close to being the same as it is today. That there's a different, we know science tells us there's a different biology. There's different chemistry happening in the body at the beginning of a relationship, and that chemistry changes after a year. Does that mean your relationship is doomed? Absolutely not. I so wish I had this information, because within the information I'm about to share with you is a rule for a successful relationship, and I'm going to share that with you. Couples need to understand that there is a second way that they can be turned on. That's what experts call responsive desire. This is sexual desire and arousal that arise in response to circumstances or context. Here's what she said in the article. According to the research on responsive desire, you can choose to start making love and trust that desire will arise, not instantly, but in response to a number of stimuli. There are multiple reasons for making love, and connecting sexually. Being horny is only one of them. What about beginning the sexual dance to seek emotional closeness, or the relaxation that follows orgasm, or because you believe correctly that regular sex is important in a relationship? It is. It absolutely is. That energy has to go somewhere. So couples that have regular sex have better, healthy sex life has been connected to physical health, emotional health, and, pardon the obvious, relationship health. So what does this mean? What is this? So if we can all agree, and science tells us that spontaneous desire fades, you're doomed. You're screwed, man. And listen, this is for us guys, right? So that drive, that drives that pulls you to porn. That if you're stepping outside the relationship, that freshness, right? That spontaneous desire is absolutely going to fade. So what does that mean? Does that mean the relationship is doomed? Does that mean that you're broken? Absolutely not. It means that you must create moments of connection. You must prioritize your relationship. Is there anything else in life that gets better without being prioritized? Brothers, I'm talking to you professionally, right? I don't have to worry about work. I don't have to worry about my obligations. It'll be fine. I don't have to worry about my body. I don't have to pay attention to my physical health. We are not trained to embrace the reality that relationships take work. And what this means is that if you want your relationship to survive, forget about survive. Surviving is not good enough. It must thrive. Your relationship is such an important part of your life that a shitty relationship literally takes years off your life. Think about that for a second. The quality of your relationship has been determined to be a mortality factor. So please, if you are in that place where your relationship is terrible for years, you got to do something about it. It's not sustainable. It's sucking the life out of you. I want this podcast to inspire you to think about your sex drive differently. Realize that there's a different chemistry that exists in the relationship after that first year, after that spontaneous desire fades, which it will. The problem is that I'm going to speak to my brothers now. Wait a minute, I don't have that desire anymore. The relationship must be doomed. It must be me. It must be her. Maybe I should go someplace else for it. No. What this means is that just like you prioritize your professional life, or you prioritize what you're proud of, you have to create moments of connection. And I'll share with you a secret, not a secret, but something that Michelle and I do. We subscribed to thefantasybox.com. And so that's a website that sends you these monthly boxes. Everyone's buying these monthly, boxes for pets, monthly makeup, monthly, get toys for kids. Well, there is a box that you can buy, and you can pick the one that aligns with your ethics, with your morals. And the first one has all these questions, these questions. They're scary. It took us a while to get through, and I think we still have some questions to go. It's scary to put this intimacy, this connection, this vulnerability out on the table and address it. So many people are scared, and they're too proud. They're too scared to realize, hey, maybe we could use some help. Maybe we could read the 7 principles for making marriage work. Maybe we need to do a better job cultivating that responsive desire. It is critical. Now, I know some of you are listening to this podcast where you are at or around discovery, meaning you don't even know if the relationship is going to work. This podcast isn't for you right now. It isn't for you right now. But if that relationship is not just going to survive, please don't let it survive. Over the years, I've seen so many people surviving in their relationships, both parties miserable, both parties disconnected, both parties angry, both parties full of resentment. That is literally sucking years off your life. You're not trapped. Do something about it. Take action. Prioritize your relationship. And remember that you can and must tap into that responsive desire. And what that means is that you create moments of intimacy, moments of connection. That's why I love the box. The box, you look at the box and it tells you what to do, gives you some ideas, gives you a toy, gives you some questions to ask your partner, gives you little, lingerie, just something to get those juices flowing, to bring that union together, because sex is such an important part of a relationship. I have an expression, and it's a tough one to swallow, but that energy has to go somewhere. And it has to go towards your partner if this relationship is going to last, if it's going to recover from the pain and the suffering of betrayal. Now, again, this podcast is for couples that have been through discovery, that have chosen to move towards each other. Okay, so I want to be clear, I'm not pushing this on anybody who isn't ready. You must be emotionally and physically safe in order to prioritize your relationship. You must, when you're ready, work at it. Put time on the calendar. Our lives are so goddamn busy. Come on. Michelle and I plan for it. We plan for connecting. Oh, that sounds so unnatural. That sounds so, fake. It sounds like there's so many stories. Like it's supposed to happen naturally. My sexual being is broken. Been broken since I was a kid, being touched by an older neighborhood boy, raised in the shame and sex is the Catholic way. Sex is dirty and disgusting, and you save it for someone you love. Porn was like literally the first secret I learned to try, my primary numbing, coping, and escaping strategy. I'm busted. I'm broken. Knowing that, I've learned that I have to prioritize that connection. And for those of you who are ready, I invite you to do your homework. I invite you to prioritize that connection. Think about it. Listen, I love saying this, what I'm about to say, because it is so unromantic and it is such a turnoff. What's your sexual connection project? Anybody have any background in project management? Right? In order to get something done, you've got to be specific. You've got to be deliberate. You've got to be intentional. You've got to plan for it. And when you think of how crazy our lives are and how broken some of us are and how much damage we have done as men to our partners through our betrayal trauma, we have literally shattered our partner's version of reality. 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. The sun doesn't rise in the east and set in the west. My sexual energy, his sexual energy is not being directed towards me. You're crushing her, man. You're killing her. So get the help you need. fix, treat that intimacy disorder. Forget about sex addiction and porn addiction. You've heard me talk in other podcasts. Okay, those words have value in the sense they recognize the compulsive nature. Treat your intimacy disorder. And when you do, and when you're able to create that emotional safety in the context of your relationship, then you must prioritize that connection. You must make time for that connection. You must honor and respect that relationship because that spontaneous desire is gone. And I previously interpreted that as the relationship was gone. The relationship was broken. So selfish me, I directed that energy someplace else, crushing my partner in the process. Took a lot of healing to get to this place. We're happier now than we've ever been. And we have to prioritize our relationship. We have to cultivate that responsive desire. Responsive desire means it's responding to something. That horniness grows in response to the connection that you have created. So, sexual health is physical health. Sexual health is mental health. Sexual health is obviously relationship health. Thank you so much for listening. Go to the Gottman Institute. Check out these great articles. Thank you, Dr. Cheryl Fraser, for sharing your wisdom with us. So grateful for that wonderful resource. Sign up for the Marriage Minute. Buy the book, The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. Treat your intimacy disorder. And remember, brothers, to embrace your power of choice. Don't forget, you must feed the right wolf inside you always because you deserve it. I'd like to close with an announcement on our self-study program. So my group coaching program is definitely in a world-class program, and the price reflects that. Some people don't have the budget for that program despite the scholarships. So what we are doing is we are adding a webinar call to the self-study program. This is the first time that I've announced this publicly. I haven't even sent it out in an email. So if you can't afford the group coaching program, if you don't need that level of intensive boot camp style support, then maybe the self-study program with a weekly group coaching call with Coach George. He has been with me for 6 years. He is talented. I call him our fire-breathing dragon. He's going to be running a weekly call. We're going to record it. We're going to post it. So you're going to have resources to help you be your best self. Life is too short to suck. Embrace your power of choice. Feed the right wolf, and catch you next week. Bye, everybody.